The thing that kills me is that doctors and lawyers, as an example, go to school, they'll be there for 4 to 5 years. They'll learn the science of their particular industry, the law, as an example, or they'll learn chiropractic, or they'll learn cardiology, they'll intern, and then eventually they'll become associate partners, paralegals, whatever it is. But none of them, absolutely none of them, are ever taught the 3 essentials of business. Number 1, management. Number 2, business development, which is probably even more important than management. Where are they going to get their patients and clients from? And the last of which is how to hire, because eventually they're going to need people to help them. They're in a support role, an administrative role. And the fact is that if they don't have those individuals, then how on earth are they going to run a good, profitable business? The intellectual property that I have and the passion that I have that really could be transitioned to any business. It does not matter to me if it's white collar or blue collar. And the rationale for that is simply this. If you're a plumber, you're not going to know how to get business. If you're in construction, whether it's residential or commercial, you still have to manage, you still have to seek new clients, and better than that, you have got to share with them good customer care. And if you're not taking care of your clients, then it doesn't matter where you are. In the past, as an example, I've worked with a cement mixing company out in Phoenix, Arizona. I have worked with an insurance company in Chicago. I have worked with a residential contractor, commercial real estate agents. As a matter of fact, I'm on the speaker series for the National Association of Commercial Realtors. I have worked over time with plumbers. I have worked with electricians. I have worked with HVAC guys, and I have even offered lent assistance to auto body shops, auto repair shops, and an array of other mechanics in any particular industry. When we talk about business, and here's the thing that is wrong about every business that I see, from Fortune 500 to anybody that's just starting out, perhaps that even had recently gotten terminated and said, whoa, guess what? I'm going out and making it on my own because I don't want to work for anybody anymore. The fact is that, and this is predicated on a new book that I wrote called Ultimate Business Bible for Entrepreneurs. And what I truly believe is, even with large businesses, the reason why they're in business is that they are in business to acquire and retain clients. That's it. It's that simple. And if you think about it from the perspective of the more clients you have, the more business you're going to have. It's that simple, because you are now the tribal leader, and people want to come into community with that tribe. So think of organizations like Apple, think of organizations like Facebook as an example. No advertising or very little promotion, yet today Facebook has 734 million customers. Apple is the busiest retail store in any shopping mall, bar none. Whether it's Macy's or Nordstrom's, doesn't matter how powerful, they are the largest store around. And why so? Because they've got such a strong community. And so my book is based upon this whole notion that when you have that foundation, when you have this large base of clients, you then can bring others into the community, because your customers then are your marketing avatars. And so I started thinking about this whole notion and saying, okay, wait a minute. So if clients are the foundation, how do you build a good foundation? What's it based on? So I went back to the whole cement thing from a client that I was working with and said, well, if you build cement, the higher the base of cement you have, the larger the foundation. Well, when you have a good dense foundation, then you have a good customer base. What's another word for density? Mass. And I said, that was it. That's what I needed. And so then you say to yourself, okay, now you've got this base. What goes over this base? And so then I look at the business from the perspective of strategy. And I look at the business and say, what is the strategy of the business? And many years ago, I had attended a seminar based on some work of Kepner Trigo, which is a consulting firm out of Princeton. And I happen to like the work because it's what they say is strategy has within it 9 driving forces. And I love the word driving force, because in order to have your business, you've got to have a driving force. You've got to know, what is your motive for operation? Is it products? Is it markets? Is it capabilities? Is it just you're in it for money? You know, banks are in it for money. They use other people's money to make money. They don't make anything. There's no creativity. But if you're a plumber, then you're really in it to serve markets. If you're an Amazon, you're in to serve markets and its distribution. If you're a paper and pulp manufacturer, you're doing natural resources. So you want to think about, what is your driving force for business, because too many businesses forget why they're in business. So when I work with organizations, I look at that strategy and then I look at what they're doing for customer attention and customer retention. In order to create that tribe, you've got to be visible. And in order to be visible, you've got to produce one of two things. Either A, shameless promotion, or you've got to produce an array of activities then, integrated marketing communication pieces that allow people to become attracted to you. Doesn't matter if it's advertising, if it's promotion, if it's public relations, it could be sales, it could be sales promotions. It could even be customer service. But the fact is that in order to gain that visibility, you've got to put messages out there that people see, which is why social media is so big right now. What you then do after that marketing side is that you're creating enough money into the business. Hopefully you're getting enough revenue on client visits, patient visits, doesn't matter what it is, but you're getting that money. And one of the worst things that business owners do, doesn't matter from the smallest to the largest, and think of the large Fortune 500 companies, they have ethical issues today because they take the money and they spend it on themselves. It's real easy to go out and buy a Hummer. It's real easy to go out and buy a private jet. But what are you doing to A, funnel that money back into the business? In other words, why are you not reinvesting in one of your greatest assets, which are your clients? Your second greatest asset are your employees. So why are you not investing in those employees? And then when you have that, then you take that money and put it into the account and leave it there, which is why organizations today have so many damn problems with their own revenue, simply because they go through these gyrations because they spend money on themselves and say, well, we're not making enough profit, so let's let 14,000 people go, or let's let 6 people go. They're going because you don't have A, a loyal staff, and B, you don't have a good customer base. And C, you spent the damn money on yourself foolishly rather than reinvesting it back in the business. And then the final two pieces of this is the sales and service. First, the sales. Here's the piece de resistance, and this is the thing that I cannot believe that people do and miss each and every time. Nothing happens without a sale. Nothing. The lights don't go on, the bills don't get paid, that you can't fund product development, nothing. So tell me why people don't funnel themselves into a sales method, into a sales process. And believe it or not, with the research that I've done and the amount of people that I've worked with over the years, 94% of most businesses don't have a sales process. And worse yet, they're afraid to even ask, hey, do you want to buy me? Do you want to buy one? And then the last of which is then customer service. You've got to have great customer service. And if you don't have good customer service, then people are not going to want to come back to you. Customer service is based upon the people that you hire, the people that are your customers because they become your marketing avatars. It's then your whole persona, the way that you perceive yourself with your existing client base. But the other thing is how they perceive you, what you're doing to bring them into the fold. And the last of which is then property. In other words, what does your building look like? What does your lobby look like? Is it presentable? I've walked into places that truly look like Armageddon, and I wonder, why in the heck am I even here? And then it's everything from the way that your phones are answered. I have an opportunity where I say, if you want to call me, I will return your call within 90 minutes of receipt. And if I remember, Stephanie, you said yourself, that was pretty impressive. Do you know how many times that people will say to me, I'll return your call? And this is what I get. I'll return your call when? Oh, in a minute. And I just paused there for 4 seconds. Could you imagine what a minute sounds like to somebody else? It's eternity. And that in and of itself is customer service. And the last of which on property are things like your website and making certain that people can get to things and contact you in an easy way, the forms that they have to fill out, the verbiage that they use, all of that, and it's the manner in which you present yourself. If your customer service sucks, and many businesses, their customer service absolutely sucks. I've got a great story just in answer to this question. There was one day I took my son to Kentucky Fried Chicken. It was 11 o'clock at night. And so I walked into Kentucky Fried Chicken and realizing it was 11 o'clock, it was the end of the day, I innocently asked to the counter clerk, what do you have? The counter clerk is looking at me and has this baseball cap, and she's looking at, actually not looking at me, she's looking at the floor. She's got her hands in a defensive position, she's all closed off, and she's not even looking at me. And this is exactly what she says. What do you frickin' think we got? We got frickin' chicken. I've never been back to a Kentucky Fried Chicken again, and you know what? I won't. Because when your customer service sucks like that in one place, it's going to suck throughout. And that it shows me that they're not hiring right, number one. Number two, they're not into the customer service business. And number three, they're going to service themselves out of the business. Great one. The biggest problem that I see most small businesses, especially those that I work with are entrepreneurs, they are the world's biggest gosh darn procrastinators. I can't stand somebody that sits around and farts their day away at a computer and plays around on the internet, or is thinking about ways in which they need to think about business and don't. I've got a client right now who actually had the balls to say to me the other day, he spoke with another coaching company simply because they called him on the phone and cold called him and offered up new opportunities as to how they can help him do his business. I've been working with this guy for 5 months now, and I can tell you right now from an 80-20 rule, 80% of his day is spent screwing around and not doing the 3 things that he needs to do to get his business right. A, visibility, B, customer service, and 3, activity. If you're not active, you're not going to do anything, and people can't know you. You won't be visible. And if you are not, if you are unwilling, if you are truly unwilling to work your own business, then your business is going to work you. And guess what? It will work you to death, and it will work you into bankruptcy. The best piece of advice for a struggling business is to do 3 things. Number 1, make sure that you know your customer base and follow the trends. I'm often reminded of a great quote that Steve Jobs had provided when he was doing a seminar many years ago and asked what kind of market research he does. And he said, bullshit, we don't do market research. We talk to our customers. You want to turn around your business? Talk to your customers and ask what they want and ask what they need, and be communicative to those customers. 97% of businesses today don't even communicate to their customers. And you know, there's this whole notion of Facebook and MySpace and LinkedIn. Those are not communication tools. Get off your ass and get in front of a customer. That's the first thing that you got to do. The second thing that you have to do to help your own business is look at your own visibility in your own marketing and advertising, and make sure that you're completely visible. Think of yourselves as a tribal leader. Think of yourselves as anybody that would be in control. You know, when you look at good and bad leaders over time, they attract folks. Hitler, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, they all attracted a tribe. You can do the same thing through shameless promotion, but you got to do that. And the third and the biggest thing to turn around your business, create activity. Every day you should be doing something, about 20% of your day, 15% of your day, marketing, promoting, and selling yourself and selling your business. Don't sit behind a desk. Don't instruct other people, but be out there. Struggling businesses need me because of 3 vital things. Number 1, I'm going to look at the observed behavior. I'll notice what's wrong literally within a half an hour to an hour and be able to make subtle changes. Number 2 is that I will formulate some accountables for you so that you can instantly see the results. And number 3, we're going to rebrand, we're going to recast you so that you're visible in your marketplace. You're no longer going to be a ghostly image. You will be a force to be reckoned with when we're done.